3 billion years ago, give or take a couple of 100,000 years, the first living creature with a backbone was the fish. Millions of them are etched in stone, monuments to being caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. In the oil business in 1981 and 1982, a lot of investors and companies and banks operating in the wrong place at the wrong time found out that the only thing certain about looking for oil is that most people don't find it. One company, though, working against the grain but with the odds, went from $500,000 in seed money to reserves worth close to $90 million. Call it luck, call it smart, or call it whatever fits. The company is Tian Energy. Tian Energy had
the ships rotate a full circle for safe heading in rough waters. They can operate effectively with waves 30 feet high and winds of 60 miles per hour.
Would go around smoother. But early drilling technology started long before our complex mechanized culture. The really classic oil well, a derrick with black gold spewing sky high at the top, was Spindle Top. It was the dream of Patilla Higgins and Captain Anthony Lucas of Beaumont, Texas. On January 10, 1901, with their last jointed drill pipe in the hole at 1,100 feet down, the granddaddy of them all blew out and eventually produced 100,000 barrels per day. That historical event spelled the end of an oil monopoly, the rise of several of the major oil companies of today, and the beginning of the boom that followed. The real success of Spindletop was that of one man's optimism over the discouragement of those around him. That same spirit has inspired the oil and gas industry to this day. It's the spirit that has brought many of you here to view this film. Exploring for oil is kind of like fishing, except, well, it's a lot harder to sink a hole than it is a hook, and a lot more expensive, too. In order to save time and money, geophysical surveys are conducted to kind of test the water, so to speak, to more accurately estimate if oil and gas are likely to be found in the underlying rock. Geophysicists use three major tools for the exploration section. When the site's been chosen and the legal arrangements for the land are in order, the time for drilling is at hand. With high hopes for a profitable discovery, the site is made ready for the first wildcat well. This involves preparations to accommodate the specific...
Very good that you'll have a very successful investment.
Now that you've seen all the work it takes to get to this stage of the game, producing wells, you've got a better idea why a pool of funds is usually necessary for independent drillers to complete a well. It's a rare individual or even drilling company that can come up with the ready money to accomplish what most people think only the major oil companies can do. I think very few people realize that only 3% of the lands of these continental United States have been explored for oil. Most people will be surprised at that. I think that if you were to ask some of the old-timers, let's say Dad Joyner of the East Texas oil boom, or go back to Pennsylvania and Titusville and talk to Colonel Drake, I think that they would say that get after it. It's out there. We know that the crude is there. We know that the gas is there. It takes a strong heart. This is not for the timid. The timid have no place in this business. That's where folks like you come in. And you know, it's the real beauty of the whole thing. A free enterprise, really. That anybody who can get together and raise the operating capital can go out here and take a chance, sink a hole, and bring one in. Maybe a whole field. You never know. But let me tell you from personal experience, it's one of the biggest thrills a man can have. to be involved in the exploration of a reserve and to see the profits coming in from the recovery of oil and gas. I've done it, and I'm still investing because I've seen the dramatic financial rewards that can come from one of these operations. Believe you me, it's made a real difference in my life. And remember, 80% of all the oil fields have been discovered by independents like me, and I hope like you. Thank you.
Imagine if every time you turned on a light, every other light in your house came on. Ridiculous, isn't it? But that's a